Hello, and welcome to Hello Main Street, where we talk about thought provoking business tips for our fellow entrepreneurs. And I'm your host, Monica Sanchez, coming straight to you from the heart of Yakima, Washington, which is in central Washington. And I hope that this is going to give you a little extra spice that you need to inspire you to take the next step forward in your journey on your business success. Today we have our guest here is Miriam Camaro, and she is the owner of Quiet Minds LLC. So Miriam, welcome, and tell us a little bit
Thank you.
about yourself because I know that you're here from the Valley, but I want them to hear it from you.
Yeah, well, you're right. I am from the Valley. I was born and raised in Yakima, Washington, but I was more of a bookworm, so I really didn't go out very much at all. I'm really just getting to know Yakima now as an adult, because I also took a 5-year hiatus. I was in the Navy for 5 years, and so I really got to see what it was to really appreciate a place and to discover a place and make the most of a city, a town, and people. I just love people. That's really what I discovered when I was in the Navy is how much I love people and working with different people.
Yeah, wonderful. And you and I, we got connected. It was through Alignable, right? That
Yeah.
was the platform
Mhm.
that we found
Yeah.
each other on. And I really like that platform and LinkedIn. Those seem to be my two go-tos where I'm finding the professionals who are very like-minded. Um, and we had had some conversations on Alignable and everything. It was okay. And but when I met you in person, I was like, okay, how do I get to start talking to this gal? Because now I had a whole different perspective when I got to meet you. You just have this kind of calm Zen vibe about you. So I don't know if anybody's told you about that before, but um, so I know that what you do is you help people with stress management, right?
Mhm.
And helping them to like kind of unlock maybe channels in their own mind that are barriers to living their best selves. So you want to explain that a little bit more because I know you probably have better words than I do.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what I do. I love, like I said, I love people. And in my time in the Navy, I was in the healthcare field. So my job was really literally to figure out what was preventing our patients from being healthy. And the biggest things were these blockages that people felt like they weren't worthy of feeling well or getting better, that they couldn't because they felt like they didn't have the intelligence or the resources or the support, and stress. They felt like it just wasn't manageable. It was too much for them to take on because of work, because of family, because of traumas, a whole bunch of different things. um, and so what I started working on was how to manage stress. We can't eliminate stress. Stress is just part of life, but how to manage it so that way we can go about our day like walking on cloud 9, literally, that you see something happening and you can acknowledge it for what it is. Wow, that's a stressful situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Preparing ourselves, responding the way we want to get the best results, and then
Hmm.
walking away feeling better than we did when we went into that situation.
Yeah, and I'm going to give just a little example because I know you and I we started working together with each other. And I had just did an event on Tuesday, which was very well received. I was very excited. My heart was overflowing. And one of the gals who I had met almost a year ago now, because I'm new to the Tri Cities area. So when she first met me, I think I was kind of that little nervous, intimidated kind of person, and a little high strung, right? Like I need to make this work. And when she saw me, she was like, you look like you're in a completely different space now. You like are owning your space and you're just calm about things. And I think I have to think that, to you and to really, like you said, unpacking, right? We started just kind of looking at some basic things and that keep kind of creeping up in my own world. And I really feel like that really helped me to gain some more perspective on myself. And I know that you've done that with other people as well. And do you want to explain a little bit more on that?
Oh yeah. Well, one of my favorites is one that I've, as a life coach, people come and go.
Yeah.
But sometimes people stay and you get to see their transformation. You get to really see their journey and the results of
Mhm.
of the work that you're doing with the person. And
Right.
so one of my favorites is with this one gentleman who, when he came to me or to us as Quiet Minds, he was ready to quit. He was so fed up with his supervisor. He felt like she was undermining him. He felt incompetent. He felt stressed. He
Mhm.
felt there was so many different things, and he was just ready to just throw in the towel. And he's like, "I am so done." But at the same time, he knew he could recognize, which is a huge credit to him. He could recognize that there might be a better way to go about this. That maybe there's something else that I don't know that could help me through this process, whether it's finding a new job or staying. He really wanted to stay, but at the same time, he knew that the way things were going were not working. And so when we first sat down together, it was kind of a venting session at first. It was like, oh, she does this, she does that, and I'm so tired of like this miscommunication and just like I said, undermining and all these different things that were
Sure.
coming up for him. And then we started peeling back the layers.
Mhm.
Said,
Mhm.
okay, that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the first layer, the physical layer? Okay, this is the physical layer. And as soon as he looked at that, he goes, okay, maybe that wasn't that bad. Because just looking at the physical layer without the internal
Sure.
talk, without the emotion, without the vulnerability and like all these different emotions just trying to like burst forth, just looking at the physical layer, it was something like, it was an email that said like, oh, never mind, I'm going to reassign the project to someone. Okay. Which as supervisors sometimes needs to happen. Sometimes, our higher ups might say, no, I want this person to take over, or, I
Sure.
want more hands on this or more eyes
Mhm.
on this, whatever. And
Mhm.
so as supervisors, we do that, right?
Right.
And for the
Absolutely.
most part, we're not saying it to hurt the person's feelings or
Mhm.
undermine them or disrespect them or
Yeah.
any of those things, right?
Mhm.
We're just
Mhm.
trying to get the job done.
Sure.
And so,
Absolutely.
but from his perspective, that was everything that came out just went from that one email and just ready to pack the bags and leave.
Right. Right.
So we look at the surface layer and he goes, okay, maybe that wasn't that bad. Like, I guess I was like reading into, just the physical layer. And then we started looking into what was going on intellectually. What was
Mhm.
he thinking? What were the specific like words, thoughts that were coming up when he
Sure.
read that email?
Yeah.
And that was when we started getting into like, what is she trying to say?
Mhm. Mhm.
She's taking my responsibility. She's saying that I'm not competent, that I can't handle this. She's saying this. She said, we were just going down the list of what was popping up, all these thoughts that were not in the email. She did not say any of these things, right?
Right.
This
Sure.
was all just going on in his head, and it happened like that.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
reaction.
Sure, sure. And we have those internal chatter in our head, right? And when I've been going to school when I was in college since 2018, so not too long ago. But they say that whatever we formed was in the first 7 years of our life. So those are lots of triggers that tend to happen, and then they tend to repeat themselves sometimes in our lives, right? We've
Yes.
talked about that, and I'm like, yeah, you think you're going to leave a job and you're going to find utopia somewhere else,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the same kind of issues come up, things like that. And it's like, I thought just left that somewhere else. So it's kind of that common denominator, right? Like if it keeps happening, then and you're going to different locations, maybe it has something to do with you and not so much the people around you, right? And that's kind of what
Right.
this person figured out. So what happened from him from after having conversations with you?
Yeah. After the intellectual layer, he was surprised. He was like, "Whoa, that was a lot. Like, that was heavy. That was something that just dropped on him, and it was heavy, and that in and of itself causes a lot of stress." So we go
Sure.
down into the next layer, looking at his emotions.
Mhm.
He felt violated. He felt like his territory
Yeah. Yeah.
got, or he got something got stolen from him. Something got taken away from him.
Sure.
right?
Hmm.
He felt disrespected.
Hmm.
He felt sad. He felt mad.
Yeah.
He felt frustrated because he felt like he was finally getting somewhere at work and it just got taken away from him. Like it was not fair. And so when he took a look at that, he was like, wow, I didn't realize how much it affected me internally. Like, yes, these are my thoughts, but like how those thoughts were weighing on my heart and all these feelings. It just created a whole drain of energy into these feelings, into these different things. And then we were able to go from there and say, what about this situation was sad?
Interesting. Uh-huh.
What about
Hmm.
this situation was disrespectful? And so with some of the things, he was like, okay, it actually wasn't disrespectful. It was because of this thought that I went down that path. And then I felt sad because I'm trying my best.
Mm.
I'm trying to do
Sure.
my best and it's not going acknowledged. Right? And that's really painful. You're doing your best
Hmm.
and someone who probably isn't even aware of what you're going through
Sure.
doesn't acknowledge your work and transfers
Hmm.
it to somebody else.
Hmm.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had no idea.
Hmm.
No idea. And
Because
so,
she had no idea because he never mentioned anything to her, right?
right. And as when we go to work, for the most part, we don't really bring a lot of our emotions or a lot of those kinds of things with us.
Yeah.
And so even if he had said something, it may not have been come across the way that he wanted to because he had all these other emotions jumbled up in there
Sure.
and thoughts,
Yes.
assumptions
Uh-huh.
that she may have just become defensive instead of
Yeah.
responding in a great like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like I totally understand you."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carrot, she commented here and she says, yeah, no matter where you go, it's a part of you, right? But
There you
being
are.
able,
I love that.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, exactly. So thank you,
exactly.
Kara, for that. I appreciate it. So what
Yeah.
was his outcome after all of this and unpacking? What was the final outcome for him?
He really got to know what his values were, what his needs were,
Hmm.
and started being able to identify them for himself, give
Wow.
them to
Hmm.
himself when he needed.
Sure.
If he needed clarification, he
Hmm.
needed clarification. That's it. It wasn't that no longer we got to strip away the insecurity of if I ask a question, I'm stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was able to ask for clarification so he could
Okay.
do his job better.
Yeah.
So what happened? He got better clarification.
Hmm.
He had the clarity that he needed to execute the job in a timely fashion in a
Yeah.
really great way and the results that were desired,
Yeah.
right? And then with that communication, with that, the supervisor started actually giving him more,
Okay.
better
Yeah.
responsibilities and projects
Hmm.
that when you put that into the cycle of I can ask questions when I need clarification. I'm doing my best and I'm acknowledging myself when I do my
Sure.
best. And
Sure.
whenever my boss says, can you change this? It's not an attack. It's not a personal
Yeah.
attack. Oh, sure, yeah, no problem. I'll
Yeah.
take care of that right there. I'll just move that over here, right?
Right. Mhm, mhm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Their relationship started improving. It was just
Mhm.
started going like this, hand over fist. They were
Yeah,
that whole relationship, that whole dynamic to where she put him in charge of a whole team because she felt like she couldn't handle it.
yeah,
And they just made a great team.
yeah,
He stayed at the
mm,
same job.
yeah,
He found fulfillment because he liked the job. It was really
sure.
just that relationship that he felt like he could not handle.
Mhm.
What it was that he wasn't able to ask the questions that he needed to ask to perform the way he wanted to perform, and
Yeah,
vice versa.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm just popping in here with Kara, that she just is giving us kudos. So thank you so much, Kara, and I appreciate you. Um, so yeah, and I think it's important for us to know that he was still in the same place, right? He never left, and it was all just something he had to unpack, and he was better for it. And and doing much better, and got rewarded for what he was, achieving. So, and it
Mhm.
had nothing to do with the other person. Like, I remember you telling me that it only had to do with him and his mindset, right? So,
I only
so
worked with him.
yeah,
I
yeah,
only worked with him, and we saw amazing results between their relationship and the whole workplace,
sure, yeah,
right?
mm-hmm,
Didn't have that
hmm,
tension, that stress, that all that kind of stuff that comes up, and
yeah,
it's just so disruptive. It just
yeah,
benefited the whole team.
absolutely, absolutely,
And I just worked with him.
yeah, yeah. And I had mentioned, I watch different episodes, series and things like that. And I had mentioned like Wendy Rhodes. I really feel like someone like you and someone like Carola would they could come in and really kind of unpack some things for somebody really quickly, where it's like, man, I really have these internal thoughts and chatter in my head, where you can actually, like, let's go ahead and let's unpack that, right? And it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be this long drawn out session, but
Right.
just small tidbits and bites, just to keep you going and motivated with, throughout your day, or throughout your career. I think those are really important and valid. So I know that with your business, you're not just here in Central Washington, so
Right.
you're international. So tell us,
Yes.
because you have a team behind you. So
Mhm.
it's not just you, and they can talk with other people. So tell us what that looks like for people if they're interested in moving forward and chatting with you.
Well, the first step is to meet the coaches. There's a
Hmm.
whole page where you can just it's not overwhelming. There's not a ton of coaches. I try to look for the best in how to quiet the chatter, how to hold you accountable, but in like a gentle, a healing space.
Sure.
That's what
Hmm.
we're about. There's lots of
Sure.
different life coaches out there with different focuses and different energies, but here it really is true to the name,
Hmm.
quiet minds,
Hmm. Hmm.
learning how to listen in. So you'll go to the website, meet the coaches, you find one that resonates with you, maybe based on their picture, maybe based on their title, or like how they, maybe where they're from, maybe language.
Yeah,
We have
absolutely.
people coaching in different languages.
Oh, good.
Um, maybe that you maybe from a different background, and you just really connect with them, like, man, yeah. You click book a session, or you can read more about them. You want to learn more about what their energy is like, what their passion is.
Yeah.
There's a whole page where you can learn about their professional and their personal experiences that maybe you could draw on just
Yeah.
reading their bio.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can book a session. Every single coach offers a free 15-minute get to know you session.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's not super long to where, as soon as you log on, you're like, oh man, this is not a good fit. It's 15 minutes. And you don't have to take up your whole lunch break with it, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But at the same time, when you log on and you connect,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the session just flows, and the 15
Yeah.
minutes go by like that,
Right.
and you
Right.
walk away feeling lighter, clearer,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that you found your coach for that
Absolutely.
season of life. And that's another thing. You may, work with me for 3 months, and
Hmm.
then find someone else on there that you connect with. You still get that 15-minute free session with them, even after
Yeah.
you've had yours with me.
Yeah. And I like that, because like you said, not everybody's going to connect with the same people, and so being able to have that variety,
Mhm.
I feel like that's really important, to be able to find the right person that's going to work for you. And so, what is one takeaway that you want people to get from this conversation that we've had today?
That clarity and peace is possible in your life. That making drastic changes, having to go to an extreme, may not be necessary. Choosing both is possible. Having your cake and eating it too is possible. That's the power of the mind. That's the power of the heart and the soul that's within you. You can literally change your reality working in those realms.
I love that. Thank you. And thank you so much for the opportunity to have you here with us. And I just want to, give you a big shout out, because, you're doing amazing things here in our community. And I we're all the better for it. So thank you so much. And I just want to let our listeners know that if you, I now have a new website, and so I wanted to share that with everybody. So here is my website. So if you're looking for more episodes or want to watch this episode, you can go to the website and it will be there for you. And then also, if you like, tag me on Instagram. I am there. I changed up my name. I made it a little bit easier for you to find me, and I'd love to connect. So thank you guys so much. And thank you, Maria, sorry, my apologies. Miriam, I'm getting all tongue tied here, for being here with us. I appreciate you. And I just, I adore you. And thank you for being on the podcast with us.
Thank you so much, Monica. This has been an amazing opportunity. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see you just explode into your own greatness, because you have just so much potential.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And just before we leave, we see Kara here says, book a session. Yeah, everyone sent to talk to Miriam comes back singing her praises and the community's praises as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye-bye.